Many gym owners get very excited about the prospect of growing their gym, of helping more people, and driving more revenue. But oftentimes they expand the wrong things in the wrong order and too quickly, and they set themselves up for a world of hurt. So today, I'm going to cover the 4 most common expansion mistakes I see and what to do instead. My name is Mark Fisher from Business for Unicorns, and if you find value in this video and you maybe want some more intimate help from yours truly, as well as our team of coaches, you might want to check out our coaching group, the Unicorn Society. Go ahead, click the link in the description box below to find out more. All right, gym owner pals, you want to take some notes on this one today because I see this a lot, and it comes from a great place. I know you want to help more people and you want to grow, but we need to make sure it's actually warranted. So the first most common expansion mistake that I see is adding more times on our schedule of classes or sessions than we actually need. And most gym owners do this because they're afraid that if they don't have sufficient availability, that 1, they're going to lose members that need the flexibility, and that 2, they won't be able to sign up new members that need these other times. In practice, what winds up happening is the owner is now on the floor 30 to 35 hours per week doing, let's say, 2 to 3 people at a time for a class that is supposed to fit 25 people. Or payroll is skyrocketing and the business isn't profitable because there's all sorts of additional staffing and scheduling complexity and cost because we're offering a lot of sessions that we don't really actually have demand for. So your takeaway here is you want to be as Spartan as you can with the classes. Your goal is not to offer as many classes and sessions as you can get away with, but it's offer as few as you can while still having sufficient availability and making sure that you don't have classes that you consistently offer that are way Spartan. Now, I'll say briefly, benchmarks here are going to really vary wildly based on the actual capacity. If I had to give you a general one across all services and all models, all sizes, I think certainly when we're below 65% in most situations, we're having issues. And if you have a smaller model like small group, if we're below 70%, I think even there, we're going to want to consider, can we snip it? Number 2 expansion mistake is adding services without sufficient demand. And this is often, I think you'll get a theme here. It's often from, the client says like, oh gosh, I really wish you offered yoga or a recovery class, or I'm moving away. I wish you did program design and online training. But understand, you're going to add a lot of complexity. So you really better be making sufficient income and profit for you to justify doing this. More often than not, I don't see that to be the case, right? More often than not, I see people just add things and then a vanishingly small percentage of their members do it. They don't see this upswell of all these new members that came in now that are so excited about the new service offering. And really, they've just made their life a lot more complex, a lot more headaches, and a lot less profitable. For more on how to think about this, do check out my video, Should Your Training Gym Offer Online Training? I give you a framework in there that is going to help you decide how to make this decision. Expansion mistake number 3, adding space when you don't really need it. So here's the thing, if you add space and you don't add commensurate revenue, all you've done is increase your expenses, right? So again, counterintuitively, our goal is not to have the biggest space we can. It's actually have the smallest space we can without having a footprint so large that's destroying your margins because you're paying tons in rent. So consider this, okay? If you are running, let's say, a 6-on-1 small group personal training model, and you can get away with doing it in 1,600 square foot and it feels super tight, or you could do it in 3,000 square feet, so it feels really luxurious. I'm doing 1,600 square foot every day, all day long. And if I'm in that space, I'm certainly not going to double my footprint just for funsies as a nice to have. Now, can you go too small? Yeah, listen, there probably is a point where okay, I physically can't fit in the barbells or whatever. I'm not saying that sometimes you might not need a little bit more space, but on balance, you are best off both when you're looking for your facility in the first place, which might be a little too late, and certainly if you're considering adding on any square footage, if the landlord has more space in the building, you really want to be sure you've got the ability to monetize that. And real talk for you, most of the time, you don't. Because if you think you're going to add a new service, check out point 2. And finally, expansion mistake number 4, this is the biggie. This is adding a second location when the first one is not dialed in. Oh my goodness, too often gym owners have a gym that's not really working, and for some reason the gym owner thinks like, oh, if I just get a second gym, I'm gonna double my income. And it doesn't work like that because ultimately now you have 2 crappy gyms, which by the way is not 2 times the headache, it's like multiplicative, which is a fun word to say. Multiplicative, it's like 10 times the headache. Your expenses have gone up, you need more staff, your overhead is up, that's gonna make you sweat more at night. So as a rule, you want to make sure that your first facility is super dialed in, you want to make sure it's pretty profitable, and you want to make sure that it really doesn't need you almost at all. And if you check all those boxes, then okay, yes, now we can consider looking at the second location. As a closing thought here, I just want to name for you what's happening here, which is this pernicious belief that more is better. In our business, it's just not. I think newer owners tend to overexpand They hire too many staff, they have too many service items, they pick on too much real estate, they invest in too much equipment, they offer too many classes, and it actually makes the business more complicated, more frustrating, and really hurts the profitability. Counterintuitively, you want to be asking yourself not what is the most I can XXX. You want to understand, okay, sure, I have a certain level of impact and service I want to provide for my clients, right? Okay, that is the base. But then you want to ask yourself, what is the most efficient way you can do that? Which is to say, the smallest footprint with the shortest class times, with the most capacity per hour, the smallest number of total staff. And certainly to start, let's nail this in one location first before we just start willy-nilly adding in other locations. All right, pals. I hope you found this video was useful. This is a very common mistake I see a lot. I hope I can save you some grief by getting out in front here. And if you like this video, it'd mean a lot to me if you consider smash that subscribe button so we can get the word out so that more gym owners can find out this kind of information, prevent these mistakes, so they can make an even bigger impact on their community, building a life and a business they really love. I will see you soon for another video where I will offer you more actual tips, psychological frameworks, and yes, philosophy.